Good morning, second grade math students. How are you doing today? And I am, first of all, going to tell you how much I miss you very much, and I wish we were all learning together in the same classroom, but I understand that that's not going to be possible in the future, so we are going to have to continue these online lessons, and this has to be done for everybody to stay healthy and safe. So I am happy that you're here with me today, and I am going to teach you the first lesson that is a new lesson since the break. Okay, and we are on page 209 in your workbook if you have it, and the unit is subtraction, and the lesson is the sixth lesson, so 5-6. Okay, you can follow along. You'll also need a whiteboard and a marker and a way to erase, and I like to use the sock. Okay, as my eraser. I'm Mr. Sock. And okay, let's get started. We're going to start with the I can statement, and it's at the top of your book, your workbook, in the upper right. Okay, and we're going to start with the I can statement, and let's read it together. I can choose a strategy to help me subtract two-digit numbers. Okay, and the three strategies we practiced and learned were open number lines, and that's one where you're going to either count back or count up. Break apart numbers, and that's one where you're going to break apart the second add-in to make it friendlier to subtract the individual place value. And then compensation, where what you do to one side of the equation you have to do to the other side of the equation. Okay, and you're trying to make numbers friendlier. Okay, compensation works better when you have the second add-in pretty close to the next 10. Okay, so with that said, we're going to get started with some equations, and they're kind of letting you figure out in the workbook which strategy works best for you. But also there are certain problems where some strategies just naturally fit better with them. And with more practice, using all of these strategies to subtract two-digit numbers, you'll get to eventually see and understand which one works better for which situation that they're asking you to subtract. Okay, so let's practice all three of them, starting with the open number line. So the open number line works really well when you have an equation with the second digit, the ones place value, in the middle. So in the middle meaning the ones place value is somewhere, the number in the ones is somewhere between 5 and 10. I mean 0 and 10, somewhere in the middle. So you see I have 5 here and 6 here. Okay, so subtraction, counting back works better for me. So I'm going to do my open number line counting back. Okay, and I'm going to start and put 65, and I'm going to label 65. Okay, and I'm going to count back 3 tenths and 6 ones. I'm going to do that right away, and I'm going to start right at 65, and I'm going to go 1, 10, 10, 20, 30, and you see how all of those hops are pretty proportional. They're all right about the same, and each one is minusing 10, so I'm going to write that up on the top. Okay, and then the point where they hit on the number line is going to be that the 10 take away. So 65 minus 10 is 55, so I'm going to label those parts too. It's very important to label your number line so other people can follow your thinking. And then I have 45. And then I have 35. But I'm not done yet because I still need to minus my 6 ones. Okay, and so I know that I can go back 6 hops, or I could just make this a 5 and a 1, because I know that 5 plus 1 equals 6. So I'll do the 5 and 1 hop, and then I'll end up on 30. And then I still need to minus the 1, and that'll be 29. So my answer, 65 minus 36, is 29. Okay, and I'm going to double check my work because I have plenty of time to do that nowadays at home. So I get my hundreds grid. So I have one here and that I can write on. I don't know if you have one of those at home, but if you don't, you can go ahead and just count using a pencil in your workbook on page 89, and it looks like this. And it's from the first lesson in the subtraction unit. I like to have it where there's a post-it here and a post-it where I'm working, so I know that I can toggle back and forth in between the two pages. Okay. All right. So let's check 65. I'm going to circle 65, and then I'm going to go back 36. Okay. Now remember, down the number line is up, showing up on the number grid. So I'm going to go up 30. 10, 20, 30, and then I'm going to go across to the left, because to the left is back, 6. And I end up at 29, and that was my answer. So I've double checked, and I'm correct. Okay, my computations are correct. All right, so I'm going to put that down. I'm going to erase, and I'm going to go ahead and have you erase too. Okay, and we're going to do our next equation, and the next equation is 70 minus 44. And I'm going to go ahead and use the break apart strategy here, because I see that this is a 0 in the 70 has a 0 in the 1s. So I'll be able to use expanded form really quickly and accurately here. So I'm going to go ahead and make the 44 into 40 plus 4, and I'm going to go ahead and minus the 40 first from 70, and that gives me 30, right? And then I still have to minus the 4, and 30 minus 4 equals 26. So my answer is 26, I think, and I'm going to double check using my number grid. Find 70 and circle 70, and then I'm going to go back 4 1s and 4 10s. So first I'm going to go back the 4 10s. 10, 20, 30, 40, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm at 30. But I'm not done yet. I still got to minus the 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I land on 26. And that's also what I got when I did my break apart strategy. Okay, all right, so we have one more strategy to practice. We're going to practice compensation. Cross my fingers. This one's the most challenging one for me. And compensation works very well when one of your subtractions, the second subtractand, is close to the next 10. So I'm going to give you an example. Here is a good example. 46 minus 18 would be a good example to use compensation. So with compensation, the one that works for me is I have to remember what I do to one side of the equation. This is the equation. That's the equal sign. Think of that as your balance, the center of your balance beam, and that what's on one side has to be equal to what's on the other. So what you do here, you have to do here. So I see that 18 is really close to 20, so I'm right away going to turn this into a 20 by adding 2. Okay, and so now I'm going to bring down the 46 and my minus sign. So right away, I know that I'm going to have to add 2 to the difference I get. Okay, so 46 minus 20, 26, right? So 4, 2, 2, 6. Okay, and then I'm going to add 2, and I'm going to get 28, and I'm going to cross my fingers and hope this is right. Right? Because I'm trusting in the strategy, right? So I'm going to go to my number grid, because this is never, the number grid is always right. It's just that you can't always carry them around with you to double check. So I'm going to start with 46. Okay, and I'm going to minus 18, 18. So 1, 10, and 8 1s. So I'm going to go back to 36. That's my 110, and I still have 8 1s, and I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And did I get 28? I sure did. Yay! I got it right. Like I said, this one's the most challenging for me, but it works really well if the second subtractand is close to the next 10. Now you can use all three strategies for all three of these problems. And with more practice, you'll get to see which one works best for you, number one, and number two, which one is the most efficient to use for the different kinds of problems there are with the different kinds of numbers there are within each problem. And this goes both for subtraction and for addition within 100. Okay? So with more practice and understanding, you'll develop your understanding of place value and the relationship between addition and subtraction and which order of operations you'll be using. Okay, so one more time, let's read the I can statement, and I'm just about out of time here. I can choose a strategy to help me subtract two-digit numbers. Okay, so with this daily video and the videos on Pearson Realize and the workbook pages, I hope that you have a great session with math every day. And yeah, I'm thinking of you. Take care of yourself. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to your parents. Be kind to your siblings. And get exercise. Take breaks. Eat well. Be healthy. Okay? I'll see you tomorrow.